Hey folks, this is Slugger. I know I'm mostly known for talking about Lego, if I'm known at all, but another big hobby of mine is Heroscape, and today I'm here to give an introduction on what makes this game so great. Heroscape is a turn-based strategy game where you command an army of miniatures to clash against your opponent on a dynamic battlefield. The figures represent fighters from history, science fiction, and fantasy, bringing unique abilities to the conflict. The game board itself is built upon a modular system of hexes that can be interconnected and stacked, much like Lego bricks. This allows for battles of all shapes and sizes to take place and can be easily adapted into other games as well. The original retail life of this game lasted from 2004 to 2010, and product from that era is unfortunately pretty expensive now. Figures that once retailed for $13 can now cost hundreds, largely due to the thriving player base that still exists to this day. Buying into the game can be costly to say the least, but now there's another way. Heroscape Age of Annihilation is a brand new master set for the game, released by Renegade Game Studios. Completely backwards compatible and utilizing many rediscovered molds from the game's original lifespan, in essence, Heroscape is back, and I couldn't be happier. I'll admit, it feels kinda corpo to write something like that, let alone say it out loud. For the record, I have no present affiliation with Renegade. Just like with the LEGO Group, I want to keep the parent company of my hobby at arm's length for now. But that being said, this isn't LEGO. Renegade is a small company in comparison, and I think that's the perfect type of home for Heroscape. A couple years ago, Hasbro took a swing with a crowdfunding project that didn't pass the pie-in-the-sky production threshold of $2 million. No, I'm not kidding. So when they couldn't make their buck, they licensed it out to a company who could. Renegade's current tenure has not been perfect, but Renegade actually shipped a product, and it's a sluggin' good product too. Also, where Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast seemingly couldn't care less about Heroscape's sovereignty as a game system, Renegade really seems to appreciate the gift they've been given here. Heroscape is front and center on their website, and it warms my heart to see the game given the love it deserves. All of that is to say that while I might in the future come off as overly positive towards Renegade Game Studios on this channel, it's not because I'm a bought and paid for shill. At least not yet. Rather, because I truly think that they're doing more good than bad for the future of this game. Anyways, sorry for the preamble, on to the game. When building your army, you can choose between hero figures and squad figures. Heroes are usually more powerful, have more potent abilities, and can typically take a hit or two before going down. On the other hand, squads have an inherent ability to attack your opponent multiple times during a turn, and require multiple attacks from your opponent to eliminate them all. Figures are activated via order markers, which are placed at the start of each round before an initiative roll. Players then take turns activating their army cards in the order indicated on these markers, adding forethought and planning into your strategy. The numbers on these order markers are hidden from your opponent, and each player is given a decoy marker to serve as a red herring. When you activate a hero, you can move, attack, and utilize any applicable abilities on their card. When you activate a squad, you can move, attack, and utilize the abilities of multiple figures, which can sometimes lead to decisive plays. Let's watch a turn unfold here. Player 1 reveals their first order marker on their squad of gladiators. One at a time, they move them into position to attack their enemy. Once they're in position, the gladiators are ready to attack their opponent's giant. The gladiators have an attack value of 3, meaning that they roll 3 dice when they attack. Jotun, the enemy hero, has a defense value of 4, meaning that they roll 4 dice when defending. Each skull symbol rolled by a gladiator will inflict a wound onto Jotun unless he can roll enough shields to block the attack. The first gladiator attacks. 1 skull. This should be a fairly easy block for Jotun. The second gladiator manages to roll 3 skulls in their attack. Jotun was only able to muster 2 shields. 2 shields cancel 2 skulls, but with 1 skull remaining after damage calculation, Jotun suffers 1 wound. The final gladiator also manages to roll 3 skulls, but this time Jotun whiffs on the defense roll and all 3 skulls are left unblocked. This equates to 3 wounds added to his card. Player 2 reveals their order marker on Jotun. After suffering 4 wounds this round, Jotun has to turn the tables here. He has a life of 7, which means he can only take 3 more wounds before he is slain. Luckily, he has an ability that should come in handy here. Jotun will use his Wild Swing special attack to target all 3 of these adjacent gladiators. Jotun rolls 4 attack dice once with this ability, and each gladiator defends with 3. Jotun rolls 3 skulls. This will be a tough attack to defend. The first gladiator only rolls 2 shields, so it suffers a wound. Since it is a squad figure with 1 life, it is destroyed immediately. The second gladiator suffers a similar fate, while the third is able to hang on. Most squad figures only have 1 life each and cannot collect wounds on their card. Instead, they are destroyed outright, which means that squads can be whittled down over time, whereas heroes can continue to fight at full strength until they are felled. When player 1 reveals their next order marker on the gladiators, now they only have 1 figure left to move, significantly reducing the power of this squad. Heroscape is all about drafting armies of heroes, squads, or some combination of the two to create synergy and strategy within your ranks. The terrain of the battlefield can offer all sorts of bonuses. Figures with a height advantage roll an additional die when attacking and defending, for example. Trees and ruins can block line of sight on ranged attacks, and so on. Hopefully I've done a decent job of illustrating how fun and unique Heroscape can be, and have only just scratched the surface. Heroscape Age of Annihilation serves as the current best way to get into the game, so if you are at all intrigued by what you've seen here, I highly recommend checking it out. I won't lie, however. Just like LEGO, Heroscape isn't a hobby for the faint of cash. If you were somehow expecting prices remotely similar to those 20 years ago, think again. Still, I think it was really wise for Renegade to release a smaller battle box to complement their new master set. The battle box is a truncated version of Heroscape and doesn't deliver the full experience of playing the game proper, but I had a lot of fun with it regardless, and it's hard to argue with the value proposition there. There are options for both pre-painted and non-painted figures. Personally, I prefer the pre-painted figures, as that was one of the primary draws for me in Heroscape's heyday. Plus, they're now made with 100% less sweatshop labor. I'm really looking forward to exploring more Heroscape ideas here on this channel, and I hope you come along with me for the ride. Let me know what you think of it so far. I've been your host, RR Slugger, and until next time, happy scaping.